Good morning, everyone. John471 here to discuss the S&P 500. Today is Friday, June 13th, 2025. Allow me to read our disclaimer. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Let's begin today, as we always do, with our news. I'll kick it off by mentioning, as many of you probably know, Israel launched a strike on Iran last night. Israel struck Iran. Israel's bracing for a counterattack, and there is likely to be a lot of news flow out today. The effect it had on markets, U.S. indices sold off and crude oil ripped higher. And as I said, likely to be plenty of news flow coming out today. I would keep the news feed on. If you're a CT member, that's one of the most valuable benefits to your membership is you have a very high quality news feed available to you. So definitely have that turned on. In terms of scheduled news today, we have consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. Where is it? University of Michigan prelims at 10 a.m. And as you see here, we also have a few ECB speakers at the 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock hour, all times in Eastern. So that's what we got today. Let's move on to our charts. Okay, here we are on a full session chart of the S&P 500 using EPX today rather than IRT. Just for fun. I'll also note that for me, I am still going to be talking about the June contract today. That is ES June 5, ES M5, but never say M. It's ES June 5, everyone. This is June. It's a June symbol. March, Dece, June, SEP. That's their symbols. But don't say M. But anyway, so yeah, I'm still quoting June. This is our chart of the June contract. We're very familiar with this. We have our settlement up here at the 49 halves, and as you can see, we have broken structure lower right here. The target I was talking about, if we really started to move, was the 5970s. We smoked it through those. 5970s was the non-farm payroll SOC. On this day, non-farm came out. We pushed higher and never retouched that price until the news last night when we flushed through it. I called out, I was looking for this area, the 5916s as the big target, as our MCV block in this area. We missed it on the flush overnight. We did just barely take these lows by a few ticks. So our full session low is the 27 halves above the 16s target. If we take this low, then obviously the 16s will be our next target. Let me get rid of our last line here. So I drew this zone here in the where are we at here, in the 87 to 92 region, and this is really going to be a key area for me today. This is just below the 6,000 print. And really looking at kind of this day, this is a day I've talked about a couple times, and this day, not a lot, doesn't look like too much here, but these are the 2 days where we had pushed higher and price slammed back down into a bid into buyers. So let's just look at what happened here. Pushes up, boom, slams higher, but holds. Holds and then goes a little further, but pushes back up, holds again. So for me, I'm seeing this as areas where there are some bids that tried to step up right here, and then we lost that area. So for me, this 87 to 92 is going to be a pretty clear over underline. We're kind of pushing it right now. If we're able to hold above, then our ultimate target will be settlement, if we can get there, and if we are unable, I'll be open to a test of our low. However, don't be shocked if today begins very slowly and just very choppy, because we could just be waiting on news because there will be an expectation of some news. So we might actually just be rather slow until something happens. Regardless, let's move on to a lower time frame chart. Okay, here we are on our TPO chart. This is RTH only. You know, yesterday, let's get a different color. Yesterday, I was really talking about the migration of value higher. See value here, value here, value here, and value pushing higher. But we noted that, ooh, there's a signal here. There's something. We closed lower. We closed lower than we did the prior day for the first time in a while. And one of the things I talk about in situations like this is about how we're just kind of really inching higher, and all the longs that take these lower risk reward trades are just hoping and praying to sell the high of the prior day. And what do we have here? We missed it. So what is this? Everyone in the accelerator program will know, and a lot of others will. This is a market structure high. This, you know, what could become a 3-bar fractal high on the daily. So what I'm saying with this right here is if we do not take this high, I'm expecting price to go lower, which we've already done. I mean, we're trading right here. But the key for today, again, like I said, we're looking as of right now to open in a gap below the prior lows. So just like I said, if we recover the prior range, you know, that we'll start to look at our targets above. We have single prints here as a target, and we also have the prior VPOC and overnight high up to settlement. So these are our targets in range if we can get back above the prior day's low. If we do not, if we are unable to, then just like I said, I've been talking about it for a while, the 70s, the overnight low and 70s, and potentially down to the 16s are the key targets if we cannot. Don't be shocked though, like I said, and also everyone can see this. This is fairly obvious. We all know what, if we go higher, we have a target and we have another target. And if we go lower, we have a target and we have another target. And these are very obvious targets that everyone can see. So when we have very obvious targets and a pretty clear over-under line, don't be shocked if we just chop around the prior day's low on the open. That would not be a shock. You know, we're trading below right now, but I would not be shocked to see us push to close the gap and then just chop and have everybody just be unsure about what's going to happen until some news comes out. But fortunate for us, we do have pretty clear targets. Boom, 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 and boom. Let's go on to a smaller time frame chart and plan more specifically. Okay, here we are on our intraday chart of the S&P 500. This is a 30-minute chart. Here we see yesterday's profile I talked about. This is yesterday's low. You can see it. It's right there in green on the master levels. Yesterday's low are right there. Here are our single prints that I talked about. This brown line is the weekly VWAP, which is also important. And then we see our settlement and overnight high here. And here's obviously our overnight low. Looking at the overnight profile, to me, it looks like, I mean, it's kind of like the trail of intentions here. We see that the news came out. There was like nobody that wanted to buy anything through any of those prices. There were like literally no bids, price just a free fall. And then we see this area, which like, you know, this is where the bids started showing up, but it's a very kind of like wide area. So for me, what am I looking at here? Well, we have this zone. This is below 6,000, the area I was kind of talking about. Here is yesterday's low. And you see that we're pushing up into this area, and we'll begin, I'll call it bullish ideas, but we'll begin with ideas that that look for a continued push higher, and this zone is the key area. Getting through this zone to then potentially this zone and this target, and then the next target. I'm not necessarily expecting this move at all. We're just going to go over it first because it's possible. So here's the thing: if we can get through this area of the profile, this is then we're going to start getting into we're going to start reclaiming this area with absolutely no bids. And so for me, if I see us, this could happen with a quick push above. We could drop a little lower here back into this zone before and then push higher. But regardless, in any way, shape, or form, if we hold above this zone and thus the 6,000 figure goes bid again, I will be open to a vacuuming up of prices back to retest our SOC in this region. So what that could look like is we kind of catch some traction here, start to expand rotations higher, get to this zone, and looks like we're going to pull back and we don't get to this zone. The singles are the key target on a push above the 6,000s. If we can then hold the singles, which don't be shocked because the singles are a place where I think this could all fall apart if we get this kind of levitation. And in fact, we'll go over that first because in my opinion, I think if we get to the singles, I think we will see, I would expect sellers at least in some way, shape, or form. So hit the singles, potential sellers, how could that look? An attempt, a failure, unable to get to the prior high, and then it all starts unwinding back to, you guessed it, if there's a short available here, I'll be looking here. If we then start to lose this area, then that'll get into our bearish ideas, which we'll talk about, but we're talking bullish first. So bullish, again, holding this area, I'm open to a test of this intermediate zone. If we can hold it here, then I'm looking for singles. Singles are the first key target. I would expect resistance at singles, but if we don't find resistance and we just keep vacuuming up, then I would look for this 45 to 49 area for our stats to take out the SOC, the overnight high, and the prior settlement. If this area isn't resisted, based on what's going on, if we get through this clear area of structure today, I'm not expecting it, but let's be ready for it. It's Friday the 13th. If we get through this area, we might see stops go off that push us right to the highs. Crazier things have happened. Wouldn't be shocked to see it. Not expecting it, but wouldn't be shocked to see it. But anyway, that's if we get through these singles. All right, now let's go to bearish ideas, which probably do have a slightly higher percentage chance of happening. I already talked about what happens if the bearish ideas, if we get a responsive push higher and we see it kind of kick off from here. We know that. But the real bearish ideas happen if we see price like failing to either testing and failing into this area or just failing into this area. Could that happen from here? Certainly. We're kind of trying to push above full mid here. So how could this look? We could, if we don't get the push above this area, we could see us kind of try to kind of like go higher in this grind and then see it just all fall apart with a drop back below this, this 6,000 zone with an impulse. Seeing it drop like this back into FS levels, then if we are unable to get back to that prior high, I would start to look for an auction lower and lower prices. Each one of these zones, depending on how the price action shapes up, each one of these zones would be targets. We have our overnight VPOC target that is a big one. We have our 70s, it's a big one right here. So both of these areas here and here would be targets. And then if we really start to fall through this area, then we're looking for 35s to the full session low for the stat. If we have a runner, we're looking for the 16s. If we get the 16s and they're still selling it, I'm just gonna go zone to zone. But this zone is really the key for me today in the short term. If we're pushing above it, I will likely just be hands off for a while until we really, unless we really see that we're holding this bid, in which case I may look for the long, but I'm not gonna be super aggressive about it. But this would be the key target on the longs. This is where it could fall apart. If it falls apart, that could be a great short. Else, it could push up and take these stats. But if we start to see price fall, if we start to see this area become where we want to trade, and often this does become the range when I see something like this, because we tried to we did sort of stick our heels in. Buyers did stick their heels in right around here, down at the 50s. But aside from that, this just looks like an area that we might need to kind of do a little bit more of this. So for me, I'm expecting more. I'm expecting these prices to be traded again today. Might come with a responsive push, maybe not, but I'm really expecting to see these prices traded again. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, could still be a great trade. Regardless, 15 minutes, I got to cut it off here so we can get to the part of the day that is the more important part of the day, which is the trading part. So we'll end it here. this will be the last opening swing for a while. Convergent is kind of going to do some experimenting with what type of public content they want to do. So this will be the last opening swing for a period of time. I hope that the opening swing has been something helpful for you guys. I hope you found utility in it somehow. I'm not sure. This is just what I do every morning, and hopefully it's helpful to you guys. But regardless, for that, I hope you found value here. I hope that you're having a wonderful morning. I hope your wonderful morning continues. And most of all, I hope you find some way to improve your trading today that is not dependent upon your P&L. That's what I got for you. Ciao.